Howdy folks, my name's Darren from RC Scale Models, and today I have a monster kit for you and we're going to do a review on this. This is Bandai's 1/72 Millennium Falcon. I've been looking for this kit for a while. I finally managed to get my hands on one. Let's take a look at what we get inside this box. So first we'll work with the instructions. It's a really thick book. It's just loaded with stuff. We are looking at, plus painting, we are going to be looking at 56 steps. So it's going to take a long time. This might be a little bit of a lengthy video, so I'll just warn you now. So as I say, it's from Bandai, 1/72 Millennium Falcon. It's made in Japan. It's licensed as well by them for Disney, and also over in the Europe side it's Revell, but we can get Bandai in the UK and stuff. So nice pictures from the movie, and obviously the aircraft and stuff in movie is basically a kit just like this, so you can make it movie spec with the way it's done. Shows you down here clear parts and non-clear parts. They do talk about reason why they do that is because they had reflection, like you see here with the cameras, so they give you parts without the clear for filming and movie purposes. So it's your option. You get figures with the kit inside detailed cockpit. You can basically mimic the movie. Straight off the Bandai, this is my first Bandai kit, so I'm not too sure how to go about this. I know they can be quite busy, and it just takes a little bit of understanding because a lot of it's in Japan. It's not actually in English, so just be careful. There's these little symbols that have these little lines. They mean click. So when your parts go together, because this is technically a snap together kit, but you will want to glue some parts just for structural strength. All of this is your breakdown and your sprue map, everything within the kit. You definitely want to check this to make sure everything's there, because there's a ton of parts. Loads more parts. Clear part for the back. We have an LED light box. You do get another version of this without LEDs, so we will check that. Make sure before building you want to check this is working. How to do photo etch, bending, tools is going to need required. The symbols, again, it's some of it's sometimes it's in English and sometimes it's not. It's a case of understanding it. So next step should be the start of it. Yeah, so the very first step is basically working with this battery box and checking to make sure everything works. I will do that in a minute. On and off switches. I believe the cockpit lights up, the back of the aircraft where the engine nozzles are, the walkways, and there's something else. There's four sections, but we'll find it and we'll see it as we go along. So AA batteries, should be 3 of those. Asking for some screwdriver tools, checking your LED lights. This is your LED box, again just checking it, make sure everything goes. The very first step of the actual build itself is this section. They show you in grey, so you'll be working on the cockpit area and walkway. So you have the cockpit seats, the 2 figurines, looks like Chewbacca and Han Solo in the cockpit, or you can have Leia and Luke in those seats as well. Instrument panel for the flight area and cockpit area of the ship. We have decals and stuff. Then we have the side walls of the cockpit area, dropping the cockpit in the bulkhead for the cockpit area as well. Actually, tell a lie, this is Luke and Leia, and this is Han Solo and Chewbacca, so all 4 of them are in the cockpit. They sit behind one another. First section of LED lights going in, so there are LEDs for the cockpit area. You feed it through these cables and run it around the back, just like it shows here, and then you can sandwich it all together. Again, you have the clear and non-clear parts, how you want to do it for movie spec or non-movie spec. We have detailed gribbly parts all on the side here. We have another piece here. This is photoetched. You're going to have to bend it around the cockpit area. Make sure your cable's not twisted or stuck out the back. Detail parts here. Actually, this is telling you to cut a piece off. Add in a piece here. I'm not too familiar with the Falcon. Not really sure what these parts are actually for, if they're actually for anything. This piece at the front fits in this slot here. And now we're working on this section here, number 3, which is this part of the ship, this triangle nose. So we have detailed parts all the way through. As I say, just be careful, make sure everything goes together. See here, it has those little symbols. It means it's going to click into place. And then it's the part of the actual triangle part of the nose. We have the side walls of it going together. This piece here is this piece here, gets slotted in. We have all piping going in as well, and more detailed gribbly parts all being attached. And then again, it's all detailed parts as you work your way along the whole of the Falcon. Cutting this part off, this part's got to be removed. Got detailed parts going in the side, more piping here and here and here, and here is all click. Turn it over, again we have more detailed parts going in, more piping, more piping, more piping, more piping and piping. So a hell of a lot of pipes on this section. And then we're doing the same process again but on the other side. So this section is going to be exactly the same but just repeated. This section here, now you're actually working on the whole of the actual body of the ship now. So we have this giant section, a couple of internal parts which you're not going to see, it's probably for structural strength anyway. These parts at the back is where the engines are. You have to make them up into 3 sections to make a long section which will sit at the back. We have these 2 clear parts which lock together, and the LED will shine through that and disperse the light across. Then we have this plate here, and it's having all detailed parts that are being attached to it. I don't know where this goes on the ship, we will obviously find out. Again, we have detailed parts, pipes, bulkhead walls and more piping and side parts. There they are. So that's part of the internal parts, and then the front of the ship. So this 2 is going to lock it all together. This looks like possibly one of the ramps. This could be the closed ramp. LEDs going in now as well. So just take your time. We have this piece here, the detail parts. Not sure what this section is. Again, all nicely detailed up. Run your cable up and over. So this looks like the bottom of the ship. This looks like one of the access doors actually for when they dock. Again, some more. Yes, attaching both sides of the docking sections of the ship. We have this piece here which gets locked into here. Detail parts again all at the front of the ship. Making our way around the side, so we have different sections working our way around the ship, which makes up the side walls possibly. Don't cut this, actually got to cut these parts off, not sure what that's for. More side walls. And then those 2 triangle pieces you built up as a sub-assembly earlier can go on the ship now at the front. Some more LEDs being attached inside. Actually, I think these LEDs here are for the landing legs. Yeah, it says it here for the legs. LEDs for the back of the ship now, which lights up the basically the engine section. And then the battery box gets slotted inside, making sure your cable's connected. Check it as you go, make sure it's still working. Make sure your connections are dead straight, not on that angle. Now we're working on the upper section of the ship, and then we have detail parts as you work your way along. A lot of this is in chunky sections, and you've just got to add the odd detail parts to it as you work your way along. Again, tons of piping. This covers up these sections of the ship. Turning it over, we have these fans on the outside, another walkway. I think this is the one that can be removed because you can have it closed or open. So this section here is part of the top of the ship as well. Making sure the LEDs are run through, and then you're ready to sandwich the top and the bottom together. Then you're working on these two sides and the rear still, which is here. So this section here is the open walkway, which is on the bottom of the ship. Looks like it's done in 3 parts. More side panels, some more detail parts. We have some more seats and a figure. This looks like Luke. This is actually for the gun. This makes up the gun section of the ship. This is the gun itself. Some detail parts, and then attaching this piece in the centre with the actual guns. Turning your attention to the front of the ship. We have some more piping and detail parts here and here. Piping, more detail parts. Making sure everything's level and making sure you've got a couple of detail parts here. More piping, some detail parts, making sure it's all level. This looks like more piping, more not hatches but the actual panels going in. More detail parts and piping. There's tons of piping on this. Again, it's all piping. These sections just behind at the back. So this is what it should look like. More detail parts, more detail parts you go along. With this giant plate here with a couple of supports. This section here, again, I don't know what it is. It's towards the back of the ship. Don't know what it's for, but it's made as 2 halves. What we have here, this looks like landing gear legs, which are they down? I think these are either down or folded, but these are part of the landing legs which sit here, and the front landing gear, because it is a tricycle landing gear. Sorry about that, someone was trying to phone me. Battery box, making sure the cables are not all twisted. We have the lock-in section for the battery box. It sits at a slight angle as it goes in. This is just to check everything's okay. More hatches and covers. More detailed parts as you work your way along, all the way through. Tons of small parts. More hatches and flaps and panels. Detail parts again all the way through. A couple of detail parts. Another seat. This is another gun section. This could be on the bottom or the top. I believe there's one on top and one on the bottom. Yeah, so this is the gun assembly for the top, and we have the radar dish going together, which is here. Not sure if it's workable, possibly is. So this is the radar dish. Got a couple of detail parts as you work way along. More small gribblies, some more detailed parts, and left and right is pretty much symmetrical. More piping, some more pipes, detailed parts, panels and pipes as you work your way around. Detail parts, we have to remove a piece there. Not sure what that's for. That's just to lock it into place, I think. And we work on the back of the airship where we have the covers. I will notice if you look at the ship, which I will look at in a minute, and I will point out certain things. A lot of it's made of tank parts, and these circle grills are basically covers from like a Tiger type thing, but just scaled up a little bit. And you can see there's loads and loads of parts from a tank. It's quite interesting to sit and look at it and try and work out what parts they've used. It's really cool. So this part slots from the underneath. This is basically the engine deck, I suppose, if you want to call it. You get photo etched covers to bring it right out nice and detailed. They say they clip into place, but everyone has built this said that it doesn't actually clip into place. You'd want to glue the photo etch in first and then attach this piece. It doesn't work like they say. We have the strip at the back. This locks everything in together. More detailed parts and pipes, as you would expect with this kit, as it's gone all the way along. More detailed parts, piping, 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 detailed parts, piping, more piping. Tons of detailed parts. These parts are going to click into place. Don't glue that one in place. I think the crosses are no glue, if I'm mistaken. The crosses were ×2. Apply glue. There is no glue section, so I'm not sure. Well, that could be the part. That could be the part number actually, not crosses. Anyway, more pipes and detailed parts as you work your way around. More pipes, and detailed parts, detailed parts, detailed parts. Yeah, pretty standard. And then once that's finished, clip this side with the circle mark had in the line. So yeah, so just slot this in. I think it slots in at the back, and then it clip it at the front. It goes down and forward. So yeah, same as if you want to remove this back plate. Don't glue it into place, because obviously your battery box sits behind this. So this is basically your cover. This is checking the batteries again still. You do get a stand for this if you want to display it on a stand, which is a nice touch. These are landing gear legs in the down position. This is the landing gear closed. We have some detail parts on the side. This is attaching it to the base. This is checking your LEDs, and each one does what section. First LED is for the engine lights. Second LED is for the cockpit. The one on the end is for the landing gear and ramp. And then straight onto the painting guide. We do get option of decals and stickers with this, which I'll show you in a minute, which is here. Actually, this one should just come with decals. I don't see any stickers. You're going to want to paint the ship like a light grey. It comes in white plastic, so the whole entire ship colour call out. They do have it in English and in Japan. Basic colours, light grey for the ship is 50% light grey and 50% light gold grey mixed for the ship. We have a flat white colour. We have a dark grey body section, so these darker sections if you want to paint them, but if you don't want to, you can use the decals, which are these. We have red body panels. Those are these section if you want to paint them. They're calling out for wine red colour. These colours are for the figures. So as you work your way along, I will paint this light gold grey. We will use all the decals. I'm not going to paint any of this. I'm just going to probably find it easier decaling it, and then we'll seal it all in, give it a flory wash, and just chip the hell out of it, and then do it that kind of way. So we have the top, the sides, front, rear. This is the lower section. These panels I might possibly paint, but again they do give you the decals. This is the internal cockpit as you want to paint it. You want to paint this at the early stage. You don't have to put the figures in, but I will use the decals for all the instrument panels, because they trying to paint that and trying to replicate that, it's just going to be near enough impossible. More options, and that's the instructions finished. So I do apologise for it taking some time. Markings, we do get some masks for, actually they're not masks, they're stickers for something. Here's the photo etch. It is super thin, you can see it and feel it. So I'll just get this sheet out and we'll take a closer look at this lovely decal sheet. So we have the red sections, the grey sections and the sandy colour sections. These are the cockpit detail. This section goes around the windows. And all your stencil data, which I wouldn't have thought the ship had, but technically it has. You get the photo etch, like I say, it's super thin. It pretty much looks like grills from like a tiger or panther, very similar. We do get these parts, but I can't remember what these are for now. It's definitely not masks, they are stickers for something. I'm not sure, we're going to have to figure that out again. So as for the actual ship itself, I'm going to do it in no particular order. You do get a box of parts. So in here, we're just going to have tons and tons of detail parts. So in this bag, I've lost my knife. So we have this one, which is L2 sprue. So it's just a tons of piping and detail parts in general. Superb detail. There's going to be a lot of sprues that are very similar to this in format of detail parts and pipes. I'm not going to get all of them out of the bag. You can pretty much see, again, this one, all in this one is piping in general. Again, this one's just got tons and tons of piping. When it comes to taking all of the sprue, you definitely want a decent pair of snips, because it's going to be very fragile and easily broken. Tons and tons of piping. I can understand why this was in a separate box now, because it's very fragile. And more detailed parts and piping. And we do have your figures, which are down here, which I'll show you. Bear in mind, remember, this is 1/72. So here are your figurines. So we have Han Solo by looks of things, Chewie, Luke, is it R2, not R2-T2. Damn it, what's the robot? Can't think of his name. Leia and the old man. Can't think of his name. Damn it, I've forgotten. But the figurines look pretty damn good. So what I will do is grab these sections of the main body. So it's absolute beast of kit, solid plastic. So your battery box is going to sit in here at an angle downwards. You're going to have cable running along here and towards the back. This is the bottom, because your landing legs go here. So you have a cannon section going here. We have detailed parts of damage, superb panel lines, and the way it's built. These are the walkway, which you can have detachable, so open or close option. This is one that's sealed up permanently. We have the engine part going around the back here. Super fine moulding and crisp and detail. Absolute lovely. We have another large section of the ship. This is not going to be a small kit by any standards. So we have this large section, pretty much can't get on camera. It takes up the whole of the size. Again, we have battle damage, and we're going to have detail parts on the inside of this. And here, we have parts going to go here, 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 whole of here and here. So I think this is part of the lower section. This section should go. This section might go hit on here somewhere. We'll have to figure it out. But again, superb detail. More battle damage. You're going to want to paint this up and wear and do it nice and grime. More scars and battle damage. So in this one we have the walkway sections and here and the sides, so you're going to want to paint this up nicely. Here we have the cockpit section and the radar dish. I will open this one. So we have the cockpit will sit here, and this is the walkway that goes towards your ship. This is the lower section. Here is the open section. It's going to be slide molded as well. So this is the movie section without the clear parts in it. The radar dish is nicely done. No ejector pins on these parts. There will be on these, but it's all closed in, so you're not worried about it too much. These segments get attached around here. This piece goes in here. And this and this goes together. So nicely done, superb, fine detail. So we have two parts in this bag. So this section makes up the back of the ship. These section here and here and here are to do with the engine section and exhaust or power. Again, superb detail. These are probably side molded the way they've been done. Lovely. I've heard really good things about Bandai, meant to be some of the best in the world. Here, straight away, like I mentioned, this is part of a tank somewhere. I can't work out what that part's from. We have detail parts. This is part of the ramp as well, I believe, or sides. We have detail parts. You work your way along. You see here, these sections here are stowage bins from a tiger or a panther, I believe. Here looks like an engine grill from a Sherman. Here you can see a back of a Panther. So we have more detail parts. Yep, here we have an engine deck of a Sherman by the looks of things. These look like barrels been cut in half. So that's definitely how they built them back in the day. Here we have black segments. This is part of your stand. This is part of your grill. So yeah, so your photo etch is going to sit inside these fans. So you want to probably paint these like a metal silver. These sections here, I don't know how well you can see these. This is all the detail for inside the cockpit. Trying to paint all of those dots and panels is going to be quite tricky. So we'll just use the decals. We have we have a seat. More seats, cockpit seats. These are for the LEDs lights to sit into the cockpit area. These are more seats for the figurines. Yeah, these are cockpit areas as well, with all the instrument panels. So nicely done. We have some more sections of the ship. So I have the back of the ship. Yeah, so this has got tons of parts on it from a tank. So these are where the grills are going to go. You can see there's an engine deck from a Tiger or a Panther here and here. Transmission covers, I've noticed. I can see covers from what looks like a Sherman. What else can we spot? As I say, there is tons of parts. We have this section here as well of the ship and the side walls. Superb detail, as like it has been all the way through. So here we have clear parts. So we have a bulkhead here with loads of electronics on it. Here we have clear parts for the front of the ship, and then this is the clear part for the Falcon. And you get nice supports protecting everything. These are those diffuser sections at the back of the aircraft, disperse the light so it's not so bright in your face just with LEDs. It's going to make the light a little bit foggier. I imagine the back of the ship is like a bluey light colour. Here is your stand. You can paint it, leave it black, or do whatever you want to do. You're going to have these triangle wings at the front and all the internal parts. So these two screws are exactly the same because there is a left and right. As I say, it is superb details before. I have loads of detail parts in here. Again, I'll take these ones out. But you can see there's parts of tanks again. Here's an engine deck of a Tiger, I believe. You can see different parts as you work your way along. Superb side panels. Here's a part of a tank, ball turret, right where the machine gun sits. So there was two of these. So here we have detail parts. So we have side consoles. See, these are engine grills from a pattern tank that I've just recently built, but is known as McGaff. They're the same grills. I do know that because I've just made one. We have these side console sections. Another engine deck of a Tiger. We have this funny looking crane section. I don't remember seeing a crane on the ship. There must be structural parts somewhere. Again, more detail parts you can see. Reminiscence of parts of a tank I've used. I believe back in the day when they were built this for the movie, they were using a lot of kits from Tamiya, and they just did randomly stick parts all over the place. These are the top and bottom section for your turret. Superb detail. Same panel lines and then the way it's designed. Loads of detail parts as you work your way around in hatches. And here we have all your sections for your engines. So these two sprues are the same. So we have some support fins. The same amount of detail. And then again we have these funny diffuser sections for these are the exhausts kind of for the ship. And then we have these pieces at the back, which I'm not sure. We are getting through them slowly, but as I say, there's just tons and tons of plastic in this kit. It's not cheap. It's about £300. So we have more sides and panels. I can't remember where these went now, but lovely detail. We have this black sprue T2. This looks like some more internal parts. Walkway sections again, I believe, on this one. So superb detail. You can see half a jerry can they've used on this kit. Loads of different parts. So these not quite the same. So you notice there's jerry cans they've used. What else have they used on there? Which I can spot quite easily. Not sure. So we have these detail parts. Part of the side. We can see they've used tracks for a tank. Another side piece. Not so much on this one. Tons of detail parts inside here. This is a back of a tank I've just recently built as well. Again, McGaff. They use this piece. Here, this whole tyre's top section is a whole tyre upper turret upper structure for a is it a Jag Panther? Whole tyre section. You can see they've used. The last 3 bags, so we have electronics and detail parts all over. These got more tank parts moulded in. If you look here carefully, you can see commanders' hatches and stuff, and cupolas and things. On here we have detail parts. Back of a Sherman again, I've noticed. These pieces are the same with hatches. These covers are around the exhaust for a Tiger. Superb. Small detail parts here again, and an engine deck of a tank. Who would have thought parts like that could make up a ship? These sections are guns. So these 2 sprues are the same. So we have the windows, part of the turret. The guns are slide moulded to a degree. Might want to drill the ends out a little bit, but be careful because you could easily break them. I won't bother, I'm just going to leave them as is and just put a dark wash inside. But the guns look nice, or the cannons, laser guns, whatever you want to call them, I'm not sure. Here's the engine decks. You can use these as plastic or you can use photoetched. I'm going to use photoetched because it's just going to be cleaner and nicer looking. We have these covers of some sort, detail parts. So there's 2 of those, and the last bag we have landing gear sections and legs. Hopefully that's all of it. I will check to make sure everything's here. We have side consoles, we have these hatches, nicely done. These are parts of the landing gear. These are the landing gear legs. Like I mentioned before, remember this is 1/72 and more landing gear legs. So there you are, my friends. That is pretty much it. So there you are, my friends. Another kit from Star Wars, and it's from Bandai. It's their 1/72. Beast of a kit in my opinion. It's going to take me a long time to do this. Hopefully this will be upcoming soon. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.